Penguin Random House Audio presents Those Fatal Flowers, a novel, by Shannon Ives. Read for you by E.A. Castillo. To Ruby, you give me the courage to reach for my most impossible dreams. This book only exists because of you. My love for you overflows all oceans. What reason was there to give Achelous' daughters feathers and claws, but let them keep the faces of girls? Was it because they were with her when she gathered those fatal flowers? They were her dear companions, the sirens, skilled in singing, and they sought her through all the lands in vain, and came to the ocean and prayed that they might seek her there. Be given wings for their quest and hover over the waters, and the gods were kind and gave them golden plumage. But let them keep the lovely singing voices, so dear to the ears of men, the human features, the human voice, the dower of song forever. Ovid, Metamorphoses. Author's note on content. At its core, Those Fatal Flowers is a book that explores the effects of loss and guilt on the psyche, but it's also a book about structural violence. In the following pages, there are depictions of sexual assault, both in the abstract and on the page, homophobia, racism, sexism, pregnancy loss, ritual sacrifice, cannibalism, and colonial violence. As such, there are certain passages that are quite graphic in nature. Prologue. The night before Ceres' palace becomes a tomb, its halls are filled with music. The warm melody is plucked from lyre strings and blown through silvery flutes, and it meanders through marbled corridors, all empty save for one young girl. Thelia runs, clutching her sandals in one hand and a letter in the other, her bare feet patting silently against the polished floors. When the music finds Thelia's ears, a song rises instinctively in her throat to meet it. But tonight, Thelia forces herself to swallow it down. Luck, she believes, has been on her side, and she doesn't risk drawing attention to herself, not even with a hum. Amid the din of the visiting pantheon currently reveling in her throne room, Ceres has yet to notice that her daughter, Proserpina, is missing from the crowd. For now, the elder goddess is too busy assessing suitors for the younger's hand, a fact that would have normally soured Thelia's mood for days. But in this moment, the celebration provides the perfect distraction. When her sisters' glittering voices rise to accompany the instruments, Thelia flies out into the warm summer night with Proserpina's letter pressed to her heart. Please meet me. It's been harder and harder to leave notes like this, with Ceres actively preparing Proserpina for marriage. Their affection, which Ceres first ignored and then merely tolerated, has now caught the goddess's full attention. A needless distraction, Ceres called their love. One that will hurt. Servants were ordered to scour both their quarters for messages. Thelia's sisters were commanded to always accompany them. Ceres stopped short of forced separation only because Proserpina would never allow it. This note, placed so perfectly on Thelia's pillow, should have been an impossibility. Her sisters chattering excitedly ahead of her on their way to the party, not noticing as she slipped away, another. Miracles, Thelia believes, and in a way she's right. What she doesn't understand is that carefully orchestrated plans across centuries are clicking into place. Teeth into gears that propel her forward into the woods she and Proserpina are fated to be in. What she doesn't understand is why. The note didn't say where to find Proserpina. It didn't have to. The location for their trysts has been the same for weeks. The small, clandestine pool tucked away in Sicilia's forests, as far away from Ceres' disapproving eyes as they dare venture. It's at that pool through parted willow branches that Thelia finds her goddess. Her raven curls, her skin painted silver by moonlight. And all around, fireflies blinking in and out of existence, as if Proserpina's pulled the twinkling stars down from the heavens to share with her. Thelia marvels at the sight. She isn't the only one to fall to her knees in awe before Proserpina. But Thelia's devotion isn't bound to temples. As Proserpina's handmaiden, Thelia worships her each time she slides a comb through Proserpina's midnight hair. Her hands fastening the silk panels of Proserpina's tunic in place are prayers. And when they find time to steal away alone, Proserpina's lips are ecstasy. But though their bodies are an exciting new frontier of exploration, her feelings are more than simple lust. In the coming weeks and years, Thelia will try to puzzle out when, exactly, she realized she was in love with Proserpina. But it's an impossible question to answer. They've grown up together, ever since Thelia's mother, a muse, came with her children to serve in Ceres' court. And there have been as many moments when Proserpina dazzled her as there are stars in the sky. Watching her now, Thelia revels in that honeyed ache that comes only from loving someone. But then the memory of her eldest sister's warning sucks away at its sweetness. "She's not yours to love." Rosny's voice rings in her ears. How many times have both her sisters cautioned that this could end only in heartbreak? For even sweet Pisinai, always drunk on infatuation for someone new, never defends their young love. Resolve tightens Thelia's fists at her sides. If their time together is as fleeting as everyone cautions, then she doesn't want to waste tonight worrying. But how, exactly, to recapture the magic? A single lily blooming at the base of an oak tree gives her an idea. A crown of flowers for her goddess. And so before Proserpina notices her, Thelia slips back into the shadows of the trees, guided by the promise of Proserpina's smile when she presents her with the gift. The forest's music is different from the palace's, but no less beautiful. It's cicadas chirping and animals rustling underfoot, and here, Thelia joins without fear. It feels good to sing like this, to hear her voice harmonize with the night's, to lose herself in song and to fantasies of Proserpina's embrace. She doesn't notice the cicadas fall silent, the animals still. The next gear locking into place. All at once he's on her, his cold claws squeezing her neck, his hot breath on her face. Terror unleashes the warnings she ignored to be here, desperate whispers from her mother, her sisters, the other nymphs, about what happens to those who find themselves alone in the path of a ravenous god. All those women of the past, split apart for pleasure. But this god doesn't want her. As he crushes the scream inside her throat, it's Proserpina he demands. Her vision darkens with his tightening grip. His voice grows distant. It isn't until he releases her that she feels her raised finger, revealing Proserpina's location. But before she can call out to stop him, to try to take back her treachery, he's gone. A wolf on a yearling's trail. Every instinct in her body screams at her to run home. He might kill her if she intervenes, but as Proserpina's handmaid, she's duty-bound to protect her. Though it's not her role that drives her to her princess's aid, it's love. A horrible, jagged scream cuts through the air. It snaps her from her stupor. He's already found his prize. She nearly chokes on the realization, but for a moment, she dares to hope. Would he really be foolish enough to lay a hand on the goddess of the harvest's daughter? Be careful, Pisinai cautioned whenever they slipped from the palace. The gods show respect in Ceres' hall, but there's no telling what they'll do outside of it. She takes off through the underbrush. Sharp stones cut at her feet, and twisted roots turn the hem of her tunic into ribbons. But there's no time to waste. The path back to the pool is short.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?